Tired of English lessons that feel like a chore? Imagine yourself effortlessly conversing with native speakers, landing your dream job, and exploring the world with confidence? Welcome to the English Leap podcast, where we transform your English learning journey into an exciting adventure. Are you ready to leap? Objective: capture the listener's attention immediately and introduce the podcast's core value proposition. Tired of English lessons that feel like a chore? Imagine yourself effortlessly conversing with native speakers, landing your dream job, and exploring the world with confidence. Welcome to the English Leap podcast, where we transform your English learning journey into an exciting adventure. Are you ready to leap? Tired of English lessons that feel like a chore? Imagine yourself effortlessly conversing with native speakers, landing your dream job, and exploring the world with confidence. Welcome to the English Leap podcast, where we transform your English learning journey into an exciting adventure. Are you ready to leap? Welcome to the English Leap podcast, where we transform your English learning journey into an exciting adventure. Are you ready to leap? Have you ever felt like your English learning is plateaued, stuck in a routine, or not making the progress you'd like? Welcome to the English Leap podcast, where we transform your English learning journey into an exciting adventure. Are you ready to leap? I'm going to introduce my co-host, Ben, a language learning expert whose passion for helping learners speak fluently. Hello, Ben. Thanks for being here. Thank you, Heather. It's great to be here. I'm so excited to dive into this episode with you today. We're going to share some practical tips to help learners improve their English learning and take their language lives to the next level. How about we start with a beginner section, where listeners can learn the basics of grammar that will help them build a solid foundation? Sounds great. Let's dive right into the core grammar concepts. Introduction. Reiterate the podcast's commitment to providing comprehensive English language education. Explain the importance of grammar as the foundation of effective communication. Outline the episode's focus on essential grammar concepts applicable to all levels. Address common misconceptions about grammar and emphasize its relevance in real-world scenarios. Preview the grammar topics to be covered, highlighting their practical applications. Beginner grammar essentials. Nouns. Explain different types of nouns: common, proper, countable, uncountable, and their usage in sentences. Provide examples of how nouns function as subjects, objects, and complements. Pronouns. Introduce personal, possessive, and demonstrative pronouns and their role in replacing nouns to avoid repetition. Provide clear explanations of pronoun antecedent agreement. Verbs. Explain the concept of verb tenses, present, past, future, and their usage in expressing actions and states of being. Introduce regular and irregular verbs, providing examples of common irregular verb forms. Adjectives. Define adjectives and their function in describing nouns. Explain comparative and superlative adjectives and their usage in making comparisons. Adverbs. Define adverbs and their function in modifying verbs, adjectives, and other adverbs. Explain different types of adverbs, manner, time, place, degree, and their usage in providing additional information. Prepositions. Introduce common prepositions in, on, at, to, from, with, by, and their usage in indicating relationships between nouns and other words in a sentence. Conjunctions. Explain coordinating conjunctions, and, but, or, so, and their usage in connecting words, phrases, and clauses. Articles. Define definite, the, and indefinite, a, an, and their usage in specifying or generalizing nouns. Intermediate grammar refinements. Verb tenses expanded. Dive deeper into the nuances of verb tenses, covering present perfect, past perfect, present continuous, and past continuous. Explain the usage of these tenses in expressing completed actions, ongoing actions, and relationships between events in time. Conditional sentences. Introduce different types of conditional sentences: 0, first, second, third, and their usage in expressing hypothetical situations and their consequences. Provide examples of how conditional sentences are used in everyday conversation and writing. Passive voice. Explain the passive voice and its usage in emphasizing the action rather than the actor. Provide examples of how the passive voice is used in formal writing and reporting. Relative clauses. Introduce relative clauses, who, which, that, and their function in providing additional information about nouns. Explain the difference between restrictive and non-restrictive relative clauses. Modal verbs. Explain the use of modal verbs, can, could, may, might, will, would, should, must, in expressing ability, possibility, permission, obligation, and advice. Gerunds and infinitives. Introduce gerunds, verbs ending in ing used as nouns, and infinitives, to plus verb, and their usage in different grammatical constructions. Advanced grammar nuances. Subjunctive mood. Explain the subjunctive mood and its usage in expressing wishes, hypothetical situations, and commands. Provide examples of how the subjunctive mood is used in formal writing and legal documents. Inversion. Introduce inversion, reversing the order of subject and verb, and its usage in creating emphasis and formal tone. Provide examples of how inversion is used in questions, conditional sentences, and negative statements. Ellipsis. Explain ellipsis, omitting words that are understood from context and bear usage in creating concise and natural-sounding sentences. Provide examples of how ellipsis is used in everyday conversation and writing. Cleft sentences. Introduce cleft sentences, sentences that emphasize a particular part of the sentence, and their usage in drawing attention to specific information. Complex sentence structures. Analyze and explain the construction of complex sentences, including the use of multiple clauses, subordinating conjunctions, and varied sentence beginning. Advanced punctuation. Explore the nuanced use of punctuation marks like semicolons, colons, em-dashes, and parentheses to enhance clarity and stylistic effect. Practice and application. Provide interactive exercises and quizzes to test listeners' understanding of grammar concepts. Offer real-world examples of how grammar is used in everyday communication. Encourage listeners to practice their grammar skills by writing sentences and paragraphs. Recommend grammar resources, such as textbooks, websites, and apps. Summarize the key grammar concepts covered in the episode and reinforce their importance. Objective. Reiterate the podcast's commitment to comprehensive English language education. Explain the importance of vocabulary as the foundation of effective communication. Outline the episode's focus on vocabulary expansion techniques applicable to all levels. Address common challenges in vocabulary acquisition, such as memorization difficulties and context understanding. Preview the vocabulary topics to be covered, highlighting their practical applications in various contexts. Beginner vocabulary building. Thematic vocabulary. Introduce thematic vocabulary lists, examples family, food, clothing, transportation, hobbies, and provide examples of common words and phrases within each theme. Visual aids. Encourage the use of visual aids such as flashcards, pictures, and diagrams to associate words with their meanings. Contextual learning. Emphasize the importance of learning vocabulary in context, such as through reading simple stories and articles. Repetition and spaced repetition. Explain the principle of repetition and spaced repetition for reinforcing vocabulary retention. Word families. Introduce the concept of word families, examples happy, happiness, happily, and demonstrate how to learn multiple words at once. Mnemonics. Explain the use of mnemonics, memory aids, to associate words with memorable images or stories. Active recall. Encourage active recall techniques such as testing oneself and using new words and sentences. Intermediate vocabulary development. Synonyms and antonyms. Introduce the concept of synonyms, words with similar meanings, and antonyms, words with opposite meanings, and provide examples of how to use them to add variety to expression. Prefixes and suffixes. Explain the meaning and use of common prefixes, examples un, re, pre, and suffixes, examples ness, meant, tation, to decode new words and expand vocabulary. Collocations. Introduce the concept of collocations, words that naturally go together, and provide examples of common collocations in English. Examples strong coffee, heavy rain, make a mistake. Idioms and phrasal verbs. Explain the meaning and use of common idioms, break a leg, hit the nail on the head, and phrasal verbs, look up, turn down, to improve fluency and comprehension. Reading widely. Encourage reading a variety of texts, such as novels, newspapers, and magazines, to encounter new vocabulary in context. Using a thesaurus. Explain how to use a thesaurus to find synonyms and alternative words to enhance writing and speaking. Advanced vocabulary mastery. Nuance and precision. Focus on the subtle differences in meaning between similar words, example happy versus delighted, sad versus melancholy, to achieve greater precision in expression. Figurative language. Explore the use of figurative language, such as metaphors, similes, and personification, to add depth and creativity to writing and speaking. Academic vocabulary. Introduce academic vocabulary commonly used in academic writing and research, example hypothesis, analysis, synthesis. Technical vocabulary. Discuss the importance of learning technical vocabulary relevant to specific fields of study or professions. Etymology. Explore the etymology, origin, and history of words to gain a deeper understanding of their meaning and usage. Writing and speaking practice. Encourage regular writing and speaking practice to actively use new vocabulary and reinforce retention. Vocabulary resources and tools. Recommend online dictionaries, thesauruses, and vocabulary building websites and apps. Share objective. To equip listeners with practical strategies and techniques to improve their speaking fluency in English, boosting confidence and clarity in conversational settings. This includes addressing common barriers to fluency, practicing various speaking exercises, and building a strong conversational foundation. Introduction, 500 words. Reiterate the podcast's commitment to comprehensive English language education. Explain the crucial role of speaking fluency in effective communication and building relationships. Outline the episode's focus on actionable techniques to improve speaking fluency and confidence, suitable for all levels. Address common obstacles to speaking fluency, such as fear of mistakes, limited vocabulary, lack of practice opportunities, and anxiety. Preview the conversational strategies and speaking exercises to be covered, highlighting their practical benefits in real-life scenarios. Beginner Fluency Boosters, 750 words. The Say Something Challenge. Introduce the Say Something Challenge, where learners commit to speaking at least one sentence in English every day. Provide prompts and examples for beginners to start with, e.g., hello, my name is, I like, today I am going to. Basic conversation starters. Provide a list of basic conversation starters for beginners, such as asking about the weather, hobbies, or favorite foods. Encourage learners to practice these starters with friends or language partners. Repetition and mimicry. Emphasize the importance of repetition and mimicry for improving pronunciation and fluency. Encourage learners to repeat simple sentences and phrases after native speakers, paying attention to pronunciation, intonation, and rhythm. Describing pictures and objects. Provide exercises for describing pictures and objects in English. Encourage learners to use simple vocabulary and grammar to describe what they see, hear, and feel. Role-playing simple scenarios. Introduce role-playing exercises for simulating common conversational scenarios, such as ordering food at a restaurant, asking for directions, or introducing oneself to someone new. Provide scripts and vocabulary lists to support learners. Focus on communicating, not perfection. Emphasize the importance of focusing on communicating the message effectively rather than striving for perfect grammar or pronunciation. Encourage learners to be brave and take risks in speaking English, even if they make mistakes. Intermediate Fluency Enhancers, 750 words. 2-minute talks. Introduce the 2-minute talk exercise, where learners choose a topic and speak about it for 2 minutes without stopping. Provide a list of intermediate-level topics, such as their favorite book, their dream vacation, or their opinion on a current event. Encourage learners to record themselves and analyze their performance. Storytelling with prompts. Provide storytelling prompts and encourage learners to create their own stories in English. Focus on using vivid language, creating interesting characters, and developing a compelling plot. Debates and discussions. Introduce simple debate and discussion exercises where learners express their opinions on a given topic and engage in respectful arguments with others. Provide guidelines for participating in debates and discussions effectively. Using transition words and phrases. Encourage the use of transition words and phrases to connect ideas and create a smoother flow of speech. Provide a list of common transition words and phrases, such as however, therefore, before, in addition, and on the other hand. Asking follow-up questions. Emphasize the importance of asking follow-up questions to show interest and keep the conversation going. Provide examples of open-ended questions that encourage others to share more information. Practicing with language exchange partners. Encourage learners to find language exchange partners online or in their local community and practice speaking English with them regularly. Advanced fluency mastery, 750 words. Improvisational speaking. Introduce improvisational speaking exercises where learners are given a topic or situation and must speak about it spontaneously without any preparation. This helps develop quick thinking and adaptable communication skills. Presenting complex ideas. Provide strategies for presenting complex ideas clearly and concisely. Focus on organizing information effectively, using visual aids, and engaging the audience. Participating in meetings and negotiations. Provide tips for participating effectively in meetings and negotiations in English. Focus on active listening, expressing opinions confidently, and reaching agreements. Using figurative language and humor. Encourage the use of figurative language and humor to add depth and personality to speech. Provide examples of common metaphors, similes, and idioms that can enhance communication. Analyzing and adapting to different communication styles. Encourage learners to analyze different communication styles and adapt their own style to better connect with others. Seeking feedback from native speakers. Encourage learners to seek feedback from native speakers on their pronunciation, grammar, and fluency. Use this feedback to identify areas for improvement and refine their speaking skills. Resources and practice opportunities, 250 words. Recommend online language exchange platforms, conversation clubs, and public speaking groups. Share tips for creating a supportive and encouraging learning environment. Encourage learners to celebrate their progress and stay motivated on their fluency journey. Summarize the key speaking fluency techniques covered in the episode and reinforce their importance. Hello! Objective: to equip listeners with the knowledge and practical skills necessary to write clear, compelling, and effective English, tailored to various contexts and purposes. This includes covering fundamental writing principles, grammar and style guidelines, essay writing, creative writing, and professional writing techniques. Introduction, 500 words. Reiterate the podcast's commitment to comprehensive English language education. Explain the importance of strong writing skills in academic success, professional advancement, and personal expression. Outline the episode's focus on developing essential writing skills applicable to diverse contexts and writing goals. Address common challenges in writing, such as grammar errors, unclear ideas, lack of organization, and writer's block. Preview the writing strategies and techniques to be covered, highlighting their benefits in improving writing clarity, coherence, and impact. Beginner writing fundamentals, 750 words. Sentence structure. Review the basics of sentence structure, including subjects, verbs, objects, and complements. Provide exercises for practicing writing simple sentences with correct grammar and punctuation. Paragraph development. Explain the concept of a paragraph and its components, topic sentence, supporting sentences, and concluding sentence. Provide exercises for practicing well-organized paragraphs with clear topic sentences. Basic grammar rules. Review essential grammar rules such as subject-verb agreement, pronoun agreement, and correct use of tenses. Provide exercises for practicing correct grammar in writing. Punctuation. Introduce basic punctuation marks such as periods, commas, question marks, and exclamation points. Explain how to use these punctuation marks correctly in sentences and paragraphs. Descriptive writing. Encourage learners to practice descriptive writing by describing people, places, and objects using vivid language and sensory details. Provide prompts and examples for descriptive writing exercises. Journaling. Introduce the practice of journaling as a way to improve writing fluency and explore personal thoughts and feelings. Encourage learners to write regularly in a journal, focusing on expressing themselves freely and without judgment. Intermediate writing techniques, 750 words. Essay writing. Introduce the structure of an essay, including the introduction, body paragraphs, and conclusion. Explain how to write a clear thesis statement and develop supporting arguments with evidence and examples. Organizing ideas. Provide strategies for organizing ideas in a logical and coherent manner, such as using outlines, mind maps, and graphic organizers. Transition words and phrases. Emphasize the importance of using transition words and phrases to connect ideas and create a smooth flow of writing. Provide a list of common transition words and phrases and explain how to use them effectively. Varying sentence structure. Encourage learners to vary their sentence structure to create more interesting and engaging writing. Explain how to use different sentence types, simple, compound, complex, and sentence beginnings. Developing a writing style. Encourage learners to develop their own unique writing style by experimenting with different techniques and finding their voice. Peer review. Introduce the concept of peer review and explain how to provide constructive feedback to others on their writing. Encourage learners to participate in peer review sessions to improve their own writing skills. Advanced writing mastery, 750 words. Research writing. Provide strategies for conducting research and writing research papers, including finding credible sources, citing sources correctly, and avoiding plagiarism. Argumentative writing. Explain how to write persuasive arguments with strong evidence and logical reasoning. Provide tips for analyzing opposing viewpoints and refuting counterarguments. Creative writing. Encourage learners to explore their creativity by writing stories, poems, and plays. Provide prompts and examples for creative writing exercises. Professional writing. Provide guidelines for writing professional documents, such as resumes, cover letters, emails, and reports. Focus on clarity, conciseness, and professionalism. Editing and proofreading. Emphasize the importance of editing and proofreading for catching errors and improving the quality of writing. Provide tips for effective editing and proofreading techniques. Writing for different audiences. Encourage learners to adapt their writing style to suit different audiences and purposes. Resources and writing tools, 250 words. Recommend online grammar checkers, style guides, and writing resources. Share tips for overcoming writer's block and staying motivated. Encourage learners to join writing groups or online writing communities. Summarize the key writing skills covered in the episode and reinforce their importance. Objective: to provide listeners with the essential English phrases, cultural insights, and practical tips necessary for traveling comfortably and confidently in English-speaking countries. This includes covering basic travel vocabulary, conversational phrases, cultural etiquette, navigating transportation, booking accommodation, dining out, and handling emergencies. Introduction, 500 words. Reiterate the podcast's commitment to practical and relevant English language education. Explain the importance of English as a global language and its usefulness for international travel. Outline the episode's focus on equipping listeners with the essential English skills needed for a successful and enjoyable travel experience. Address common anxieties and challenges faced by travelers, such as language barriers, cultural differences, and unfamiliar situations. Preview the key topics to be covered, highlighting their practical benefits in real-world travel scenarios. Beginner travel phrases, 750 words. Greetings and introductions. Introduce essential greetings and introductions such as hello, goodbye, my name is, nice to meet you. Explain how to use these phrases in different situations. Asking for directions. Provide common phrases for asking for directions such as excuse me, where is, how do I get to, is it far from here? Explain how to understand and follow directions in English. Ordering food and drink. Provide phrases for ordering food and drink at a restaurant or cafe, such as I would like, can I have, what do you recommend? Explain how to read a menu and understand food descriptions. Shopping. Provide phrases for shopping, such as how much does this cost? Do you have this in another size? Can I pay with credit card? Explain how to negotiate prices and ask for discounts. Checking in and out of a hotel. Provide phrases for checking in and out of a hotel, such as, I have a reservation under the name of, what time is checkout? Can I have the Wi-Fi password? Basic emergency phrases. Introduce basic emergency phrases such as help, I need a doctor, call the police. Explain how to dial emergency numbers and provide important information. Intermediate travel conversations, 750 words. Making small talk. Provide phrases for making small talk with locals, such as asking about their day, their hobbies, or their opinion on a local attraction. Explain how to start and maintain a conversation in English. Navigating public transportation. Provide phrases for using public transportation, such as, where does this bus go? How much is a ticket? Can you tell me when we get to? Explain how to read bus schedules and understand train announcements. Booking accommodation. Provide phrases for booking accommodation online or over the phone, such as, I would like to book a room for. What is the price per night? Does the room have a bathroom? Explain how to compare prices and read reviews. Understanding cultural etiquette. Explain common cultural etiquette rules in English-speaking countries, such as tipping customs, table manners, and appropriate dress code. Handling problems and complaints. Provide phrases for handling problems and complaints, such as, I have a problem with. Can you help me with this? I would like to speak to a manager. Explain how to express dissatisfaction politely and assertively. Asking for recommendations. Provide phrases for asking for recommendations for local attractions, restaurants, and activities. Explain how to evaluate recommendations and make informed choices. Advanced travel skills, 750 words. Participating in guided tours. Provide tips for participating actively in guided tours, such as asking clarifying questions, engaging with the tour guide, and sharing your own experiences. Understanding local dialects and accents. Provide strategies for understanding local dialects and accents, such as listening carefully, asking for clarification, and using visual cues. Negotiating services and prices. Provide tips for negotiating services and prices, such as bargaining at markets, comparing prices at different stores, and asking for discounts. Dealing with unexpected situations. Provide strategies for dealing with unexpected situations, such as flight delays, lost luggage, and medical emergencies. Immersing yourself in the local culture. Encourage learners to immerse themselves in the local culture by attending local events, trying local food, and interacting with locals. Using travel apps and technology. Introduce useful travel apps and technology such as translation apps, navigation apps, and currency converters. Explain how to use these tools to enhance your travel experience. Objective: to provide listeners with the essential English language skills and communication strategies needed to succeed in professional settings, including job interviews, meetings, presentations, negotiations, and email correspondence. Introduction, 500 words. Reiterate the podcast's commitment to providing practical and relevant English language education. Explain the importance of English proficiency for career advancement and global opportunities. Outline the episode's focus on developing effective communication skills in professional contexts. Address common challenges faced by non-native English speakers in the workplace, such as cultural differences, technical jargon, and communication styles. Preview the key topics to be covered, highlighting their practical benefits in enhancing career prospects and professional performance. Beginner Workplace English, 750 words. Introducing yourself and others. Provide phrases for introducing yourself and others in a professional setting, such as, hello, my name is, I work in, this is my colleague. Explain how to use appropriate titles and greetings. Basic workplace vocabulary. Introduce essential workplace vocabulary related to common tasks, equipment, and procedures. Provide examples of how to use these words in sentences. Asking and answering simple questions. Provide phrases for asking and answering simple questions related to work tasks, deadlines, and meetings. Explain how to ask clarifying questions politely. Following instructions. Explain how to understand and follow instructions given by supervisors or colleagues. Provide examples of clear and concise instructions. Writing basic emails. Provide templates for writing basic emails, such as requesting information, confirming appointments, and thanking colleagues. Explain the importance of using correct grammar and punctuation. Participating in simple meetings. Explain how to participate in simple meetings by listening attentively, asking questions, and sharing your ideas. Provide tips for taking notes and staying on topic. Intermediate professional communication, 750 words. Job interview skills. Provide tips for preparing for and acing job interviews, including researching the company, practicing common interview questions, and dressing professionally. Giving and receiving feedback. Explain how to give and receive feedback constructively, focusing on specific behaviors and providing actionable suggestions. Leading and participating in meetings. Provide strategies for leading and participating effectively in meetings, including setting an agenda, managing time, and encouraging participation from others. Making presentations. Provide tips for creating and delivering engaging presentations, including organizing content, using visual aids, and practicing your delivery. Writing professional emails. Provide guidelines for writing clear and professional emails, including using a formal tone, avoiding slang, and proofreading carefully. Negotiating and persuading. Explain how to negotiate and persuade effectively in professional settings, focusing on building rapport, understanding 对方的语序, and presenting your arguments persuasively. Advanced Business English, 750 words. Cross-cultural communication. Provide insights into cross-cultural communication, including understanding cultural differences in communication styles, body language, and etiquette. Conflict resolution. Explain how to resolve conflicts effectively in the workplace, focusing on active listening, empathy, and finding mutually agreeable solutions. Leadership communication. Provide tips for leadership communication, including inspiring and motivating teams, giving clear direction, and providing constructive feedback. Strategic communication. Explain how to use strategic communication to achieve business goals, such as building brand awareness, increasing sales, and managing public relations. Public speaking. Provide advanced techniques for public speaking, including using storytelling, humor, and visual aids to engage the audience and deliver a memorable message. Networking and building relationships. Provide tips for networking and building professional relationships, including attending industry events, joining professional organizations, and using social media. Resources for professional English, 250 words. Recommend online business English courses, dictionaries, and grammar checkers. Share tips for practicing English with colleagues and mentors. Encourage learners to seek feedback on their communication skills from supervisors and peers. Summarize the key professional communication skills covered in the episode and reinforce their importance for career success.